All right, Shalom. Giving all praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Peace to the hopefully elect of Israel. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, and brethren at Great Millstone for teaching this truth all around the earth. Okay, this is your brother Atazawan Bayat. I'm going to bring a quick lesson. And this lesson is going to be on this man. I can't think of the man's name, who out there in New Jersey, so-called white man walked up on that so-called black man's front step and argued with him and called him all kind of nasty names, used the N-word, right? Called them monkeys, okay? The man and the woman that was filming the whole incident. And we know that these so-called white folks, these Edomites, are extremely proud, okay? So since all this took place, I think they said it was July 2nd. We'll watch this little news clip, but I think they said it was July 2nd when this incident occurred. It's come out that this guy has done this numerable times, okay? Not just to this man, but to various other people that live in this complex where they live out there in New Jersey, okay? And we know that these people think that everything belongs to them. Now, this guy's a low level Edomite, right? But he's got the pride, to where he thinks he's really somebody in the world, okay? To a point where one of the clips, and I don't think this is the first one I watched, where he claims to be, well, the cops are my friends, so on and so forth, okay? So there have been various uh, other complaints by other so-called, Israelites. I was going to say so-called blacks, but Jake has complained about this guy, several times, and I think it's Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Their police department did nothing about it. Okay, they let this guy run amok, and this time, he's gotten himself in some hot water. All right. Well, it looks like they can't get around doing something to him. So I understand that the township or the district attorney is going to bring charges on this guy again. So let's listen to this news clip. We'll hit a couple of scriptures and we'll be done. Okay.
within this community or any community. Jasmine Kaczynski and her mother, Aaliyah Robinson, showed up to protest and claimed they too were victimized by Matthews in years past. I tried. We have tried to get justice. And if we got justice, this wouldn't be happening now. And again, a live look at the scene here in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Again, protesters coming in and out. This crowd only growing larger by the moment, it seems. Mount Laurel police said Matthews faces harassment and bias intimidation charges. It's unknown at this point if he's under investigation for any prior allegation. Now, the agency did put out a statement along with the information this afternoon saying
Now look at Jake being an asshole. See,
they do not condone any of the behavior seen in that video. You're live in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. George Solis, Channel 6, Action News. Back to you. All right, George, we'll stay on that for sure.
okay, so now you see it, right? And by now I know everybody's probably seen that video, but it's still a good opportunity to, just in case somebody hadn't seen it, to bring out a short lesson on it. And see, these 2/3, the man gave out his address trying to be funny, and he actually gave the address out while the other so-called black lady, was filming the whole situation, right? And Jake gonna take his stupid ass down there and stand in front of the man's house, bringing nothing but what controversy or looking for a confrontation. And in fact, I pulled up that word confrontation. Okay, so let's look at that first. Confrontation.
Confrontation.
It says a hostile or argumentative meeting or situation between opposing parties. And then you have conflict, clash, brush, fight, battle, contest, encounter, head to head, face off. You see? And these 2/3 gonna show up down there and make a ruckus for no reason. Now that could have turned very, very bloody, and it could have been very dangerous for a number of people. Okay? And Jake gotta learn to stop trying to get into something that doesn't have anything to do with you, because you feel like you're gonna make a difference if you go down there, okay? Which you didn't do anything. Now that other clip that I watched showed the police department ushering him into a vehicle, and they out there throwing bottles and water and all kind of stuff at the guy. You know what I mean? All it would have took was somebody to drop a firecracker or something, and the next thing you know, all them officers would have pulled their pistols out and start blasting. You see, Jake liked to do that kind of stupid stuff. But here, let's get a few scriptures and we'll be done here, okay? Let's go to Job 31st, or 30. Let that be the first scripture is what I mean. Okay, this is Job 1, okay? It's like it, Job 30 and 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with my dogs of my flock. You see, and these Edomites, are low level. They're under the Israelite. Okay, they think that way, they live that way. Okay, but they're in this society and they're running it, and they think that they're at the top. Okay, the super elite. This guy has probably no affiliation with any of that. He just your run of the mill cracker. Okay, but he thinks that he's special. But see, his forefathers were wicked, and that's what Job is saying. They so bad I wouldn't even let them stay with my dogs. You see, but nonetheless, at this point in time, these people are in control. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2. And these scriptures are all familiar, you know. Okay, this is Habakkuk 2. We start at verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh shall answer me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Right. And so you saw both versions. You saw the man whose soul, okay, is lifted up in him, and then you saw really the Israelites who are supposed to be living by faith. Them 2/3 is carnal minded. They went down there to the man's house. You see, verse 5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right, we know that on a larger scale, but even in this, you look at this low life, okay, and he's filled with that bullshit wine that he thinks he's on top of somebody and could tell somebody else to go back where? To Africa, right? Call them monkeys and niggers, you see, because he's a proud man. All right. Verse 7, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee? Oh, Slakia. Let me go back. I missed verse 6. Slakia. No, Slakia. I need to go back to verse 5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death. Yeah, because everywhere they go, they bring hell and death with them. You see? And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that goes in obviously to you're talking about the top elites, with all of their different wicked policies and their fake false money and all of their, things that they do for money and what have you, okay? Their society, all right? In which this guy, he must really think that, he's one of them, okay? Because from what the reports are saying, he's almost harassed every so-called black person out there, right? All right, let us go on. Verse 7, shall they not rise up suddenly and shall bite thee, and await that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto him, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Okay, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. And it goes on, but we'll stop right there because the point is made. Okay, that this dude is just a low level Edomite who's extremely proud and had gotten away with harassing and targeting, the Israelite folks that live in that community. Okay. All right. We hit that. And getting back to, our own, who obviously, like the man gave out his address, going to show up at the man's address, and protest in front of his house. Like I said, that could have gone terribly wrong, right? And so, you know, it bears in mind to stay away from confrontation. And we know that that's what we do. But these 2/3, they can't help themselves, and the Lord is really out, gearing this thing up, man, for something to pop off, and He's going to use these 2/3. Okay, but for us, we know better not to get involved with anything. Okay, that's detrimental and to us and to the people around us, and also to stay out of the line of trouble so that the ministry be not blamed. Okay? But here we have good sound advice in Ecclesiasticus 9 and 13, which reads, keep thee far from the man that have power to kill. Right. You seen all those different law enforcement folks out there, sheriff's department, police department, okay? They got the power to kill. And it could have easily happened, you know. Keep thee far from the man that have power to kill, so shalt thou not doubt the fear of death. And if thou come unto him, make no fault, lest he take away thy life presently. Right. Keep yourself away from all of that. Remember that thou goest in the midst of snares. Remember that. You know, you looking at this crowd out there and Jake trying to make a stand, you have to remember that you're in the midst of snares. Right? Not us, but you know what I'm getting at. Our folk can't seem to understand that. Remember that thou goest in the midst of snares, and that thou walkest upon the battlements of the city. You see? And we get to the last one and we'll be done here. Okay, which again is sound advice that Yahweh Shai gave. Even when you have a dispute, okay, with your brethren or whomever it may be, but it bears in mind to listen. Okay, this is Matthew 5 and 25. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. See? So you could get yourself in a lot of trouble trying to prove a point. You got to stay away from confrontation. All right, so it's just a little lesson, to keep in mind. We got some reminders here about how we conduct ourselves and stay away from stuff like that. But the 2/3 Jake, always trying to prove something. They tough, they hard, and all it would have taken was for some kid to drop a firecracker, and it could have been a totally different situation altogether. All right. So with that, I'm in the lesson right there. Lord willing, it was edifying and someone that watches it. And from this point, Salaki, from this point, we just move on to the next one. I say to you all, Shalom. See you on the next one.